Hello, good afternoon. Welcome to another fruitful discussion with Mrs. M. So, our topic for today is a continuation on Republic Act 8551. So, these are the coverage of our uh, discussion for this afternoon. So first, we'll talk about Section 15, which focus on the waivers for initial appointment to the PNP organization. Next, we'll talk about Section 16, selection criteria under the waiver program. And lastly, we'll talk about Section 18, reapplication of dismissed PNP members under a waiver program. So as you can see under Section 15, waivers for initial appointment to the PNP organization, that the age, the height, and the weight and educational requirements for the initial appointment to the PNP may be waived only when the number of qualified applicants fall below the minimum quota. What does it mean? That the PNP organization, that the recruitment process itself shall prioritize those applicants that are qualified. So just for in case that there is, it does not reach the quota itself. That's the time that those who decided to apply in the PNP organization by virtue of a waiver, waiving the age or the height, the weight, or even education, shall be the last priority. Next, provided that an applicant shall not be below 20 nor over 35 years of age. That is correct. Probably you're asking, ma'am, you've mentioned in the previous discussion that the minimum educational qualification is 21 and the maximum educational qualification is 35. Yes, I 30, sorry, 30. Yes, you heard it correctly under Republic Act 8551. But you need to remember that our focus for today is all about waiver, which means that just for in case that you are already 32, 33, or 35 years old, or 34 years old, shall I say, and you will somehow waive your age in applying to the PNP organization, you need to make sure that you do have some special abilities or skills with certification for you to be admitted. Okay? Another, provided that any applicant not meeting the weight requirement shall be given a reasonable time but not exceeding 6 months within which to comply with the said requirement. Take note, in our previous discussion, I have emphasized that the applicant's body mass index is very important. Okay, so as an applicant, you need to make sure that you are within the normal range. So just for in case that that what's this it does not reach the minimum quota, so sometimes even those who are underweight or overweight are somehow temporarily admitted. But then again, from the word itself, temporarily admitted, they need to make sure that within 6 months they will be able to comply the requirement in terms with the weight. Okay. Next, provided furthermore that only applicants who have finished a second year college or who have earned at least 72 college units leading to a bachelor's degree shall be eligible for appointment. Yes, you heard it correctly. Because under RA 6975, the minimum educational qualification was only 72. So this is only applicable, Labina, for those who are already an active member of the PNP organization when Republic Act 8551 took effect. What does it mean? That for those who are new applicants pa lang, okay, nga naabtan sa 8551, they cannot join the PNP if 72 units. They really need to comply with the baccalaureate degree requirement. Okay? But for those, again, I will emphasize, for those who were already admitted in the PNP under RA 6975, na yung naabtan sa 8551, again, They are still a member, but then again, they are given what's this, a certain amount of years, okay, number of years to comply with the educational qualification. Provided furthermore that anybody who will enter the service without a baccalaureate degree, kinsa pilay gihatag, it's 4 years. Another, provided furthermore that waiver of height shall automatically be granted to those applicants belonging to the cultural communities. Take note when you say cultural communities, this refers to our IP, indigenous people. Okay? Indigenous people. Kinahanglan that you can provide a certification that you are really an active member of the IP. So let's talk about facts on the indigenous people in the Philippines. So in the Philippines, it is a culturally diverse country with an estimated 14 to 17 million of IP or indigenous people, belonging to 110 ethno-linguistic groups. So that you heard it correctly. That is the reason why that the Philippines is very rich in terms with the languages. Kay included ang counting ana with the languages sa atuang mga IP. They are mainly concentrated in northern Luzon, particularly in Cordillera Administrative Region with 33%, and also in Mindanao with 61%, with some groups in Visayas area. The Philippine Constitution, in recognition of our diversity and under the framework of national unity and development, mandates our country to recognize, to protect, promote, and fulfillment of the rights of the indigenous people. That is the reason why we do have the so-called IPRA, okay, under Republic Act 8371. Okay, so recognize the rights of the IPRA to manage their ancestral domain. So it has become a cornerstone of current national policy of the IPRA. Pero sa bago rong latest, because part manggod sa claim of, because in the Philippines manggod, we do have the so-called kanabang part of the rights of the indigenous people in terms with child marriage. So we are very fortunate kay karon there is already a so-called anti-child marriage law. Okay, let me show it to you. A minute. Okay, so sa una, daghan kayong child marriage here in the Philippines. Kaya nga naman, the Philippines the country itself, the local government cannot do anything because this is something in respect and in line of their culture. But because of Republic Act 11596, which is again an act prohibiting practice of child marriage and imposing penalty, ang naitabo the practice of duway or child marriage is no longer acknowledged here in our country. And this is a good news kay this is also a protection of our mga young women who are members of the IP. Okay? And then another is, so these are just some of the examples of mga IP communities. So we do have Ikalahan, Kalanguya. We do have also Magbukan, Aita. We do have also Tungraya, Agusan, Manobo. We do have the Ifugao. Okay. So actually, daghan pagyutang examples of mga indigenous group. So these are just some of the examples, common examples. So now let's proceed to section 16. Our section 16 focuses on the selection criteria under the waiver program. So the selection of the applicant under the waiver program shall be subject to the following. Una, applicants who possess the least disqualification shall take precedence over those who possess with more disqualification. What does it mean? that you will be, just for in case nga gamay ra ang nang-apply under quota. So those applicants with waiver, pwede silang matagaan og chance. But then again, just for in case nga daghan kaayong naggamit og waiver, katong pinaka-jutay nga gigamit og waiver maotoy i-prioritize. Okay? So this is the order of the waiver: age, height, weight, and education. Okay. Another, Section 18, reapplication of dismissed PNP members under a waiver program. So this is only applied for those who are already an active member in the PNP organization when Republic Act 8551 took effect. So any PNP member who shall be dismissed under a waiver program shall be again eligible to reapply for the appointment to the PNP. However, you need to remember that the PNP member who wished to reapply again in the PNP organization because he was dismissed in service, kinahanglan possesses the minimum qualification under Republic Act 8551, Section 14. So let us check again the qualification. So our Section 14 talks about the general qualifications, that you need to be a Filipino citizen, that you need to have a baccalaureate degree, okay? And you need to pass the psychological psychiatric examination. You need to pass the drug test. Your height must be at least 1.62 for male, or 1.57 for female. But then again, this is no longer applicable because of Republic Act 11594. Okay. Another is you need to have a correct body mass index. Okay, you must not be dishonorably discharged in service, and you need to have a baccalaureate degree, and you need to have eligibilities like passing the board exam, passing the bar, the licensure examination for nurses, so on and so forth. Another, and his or her reappointment is not by virtue of another waiver. Yes, you heard it correctly. So you, once you were dismissed in service and you were admitted because of a waiver, so when you reapply, dili pwede that i-apply ka by virtue of another waiver. Okay? So kinahanglan you need to follow na gyud the minimum qualifications stipulated under Section 14 of Republic Act 8551. All right? Okay? So God bless everybody, and just for in case you do have questions, clarifications, please feel free to comment it down. God bless.